Greetings, people of YouTube. This is the Retro Indie Gamer / Nerf Shredder, here to talk about the whole Content ID fiasco. And a couple other things. First, before I get to the Content ID thing, I should note that this video is going to be posted on both my Retro Indie Gamer and Nerf Shredder channel. And on the Nerf Shredder channel, it's going to include a link in the description to my Retro Indie Gamer channel, as that is going to be my main YouTube channel from now on. And that's where most of my stuff is going to be. So I thought I might want to clear it up before I get to the meat of the story. Or at least the video. The Content ID fiasco has been going on YouTube for the past couple of days. So as some of you may be aware, Google recently made some changes to the Content ID for whatever reason. And for basically trying to make it completely... what's the word I'm searching for? Completely automated, with no human interaction, or very little from Google's part, which is actually causing problems. As many videos that are either not copyrighted by, or that are so some videos that are actually not infringing copyrights have been flagged, and this definitely is a major problem for, say, game reviews. Which, by the way, reviews are covered under fair use. I mean, do you really need to pay to review a game, or a movie, or a book, or anything really? I hope not. I mean, I don't think the late Roger Ebert, if I'm pronouncing his name right, ever had to pay to review any of the movies he reviewed during his lifetime, especially the ones that were bad. I mean, if you had to pay to review a game, I don't think we would ever say anything bad about these games, especially for games that really deserve to be slammed, because they're really, really terrible. Anyway, back to the Content ID thing with the game video. Yes, and snagging a lot of those. While there are some companies like Nintendo that are really adamant against their stuff against people monetizing their stuff on YouTube. In that case, the solution is just don't monetize those particular videos. But there are some companies like Bethesda, and I want to say Ubisoft, in which I don't think they really mind if people are making videos or stuff on YouTube and monetizing off it, because they understand how important YouTube is in that regard. I mean, there are a lot of things I wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for, well, looking for videos on YouTube, especially in the gaming world. As well, sometimes E3 is just not enough. Yeah, now this whole kind of ID thing, snagging all these different videos, sure, well, some deserve to be snagged. Like, for example, I could probably search for a song, especially more recent ones, on YouTube. And if I find it, there's a good chance I'm going to find ads in it. Now, I hope that videos like those have been flagged. If they haven't, they need to be, as it won't take a long search for YouTube to flag those things, or find videos like that should be flagged. Because honestly, you should not be profiting off of someone else's work unless you have a license for it. That's just that's low. Profiting off something that someone else has done and claiming it as your own. In other words, plagiarism, which is way illegal. And so are false claims, which is really the main problem that the Content ID is running into right now, as there have been several false claims. Now, let's take a look at these two articles I found on Kotaku that really nail the point in. Here's an article on Kotaku that shows how crazy the whole Content ID thing is going. Apparently, one of the videos on this guy's YouTube channel that was flagged was one that was a video of his own game. That's right. Let that sink in. This guy's own game that he made is flagged by YouTube Content ID. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Way too crazy. And if someone's own copyright material is getting flagged, especially if something they made completely like this, something is wrong. But wait, that's not the only example. Another article on the same site shows someone else whose trailer for their own game was also had a copyright claim against it. It's like, what? People's own work getting claimed, and these guys probably have nothing copyrighted in any of their games. Other than things that they copyright that own the copyrights to themselves. But yeah, two examples of who filed these claims? The copyright bot? If so, it's doing a really bad job and needs to be taken care of. Because, Google, if you're listening to this should not be happening under any circumstances. This is two examples of people's own copyright material being claimed. Good grief. If something, guys, why do you mean? Yeah, if you're running into copyright issues with your own material that you have which you made everything completely from scratch, then something is up. And I'm hoping that Google fixes it. And while you're at it, fix all the other things you messed up this year. Like switch the the comment system back to the way it was. As only showing certain comments is really not the best idea because you might miss part of a conversation going on in the comments that might pertain to something in the video. And, while you're at it, get rid of the stupid tabs in Gmail. What the heck is that all about? I get how they're trying to keep things more organized, but it was fine the way it was before. If we wanted to organize it, we would organize it. If I want to organize it beforehand, I would do it myself. And only after I've read them and know exactly where the emails go. And when going through the tabs there, I can see that some are definitely, I don't know why they're in certain places, and that's a subject for another time. But yes, for thinking of YouTube's Content ID, picking up even the slightest hint of something that's been used somewhere else, I can only imagine what the hell that people do parodies are going through, which, by the way, parodies are completely legal and protected by copyrights. Come on, if parodies would shows like The Simpsons from a lot of times and say, would MAD still be in operation if parodies were not legal? Of course not, because MAD, both the magazine and the show, or not so show, the magazine, but the show for certain, are filled with parodies. That's mostly the point of the show. And that's on television. It's completely illegal. So why can't those of us on the internet, especially YouTube, do the same? I want a good answer to that one. A really good answer. They're basically doing it so we cannot do any more videos with pretty much any images or audio from other sources. Oh, and audio, that's a biggie. I'm suspecting that the RIAA is behind that one. Either directly or indirectly. They're behind what happened to a lot of things like the Napster fiasco, but anyway, thinking of audio, there are some audio libraries that, if you have a license from, you're allowed to use them for commercial purposes in videos, especially on YouTube. And you're also allowed to use them in movies, games, and other places. In fact, one of the I think it was in Angry Joe's second video in response to this that he mentioned that I think it was Video Copilot in which someone had illegally claimed a whole bunch of their songs, their sounds that they have in this collection that people can buy, and they're currently trying to get their fair hold in the material back, and whitelisting the use of those sound files on YouTube. As well, that's the point of them. I mean, sir, there are certain songs that you should not use, and that's fine. Like, you should not be putting complete songs on YouTube unless they're, say, in the public domain, or you have permission to upload them. Same thing with television shows and movies. I mean, if you don't have the copyright information, just don't upload it. And you'll save us having to go through this again. Because I recall a couple years ago, or was it even last year, which there was a similar issue of the Content ID. I think it was a couple years ago when they first started it. It ran into a similar issue to this, which was flagging lots of things. Because I think so. So if that's any indication, then this should steer down. But in case it doesn't, some things need to be cleared up. One thing that needs to be brought to attention in terms of audio is public domain. In other words, no copyright whatsoever. And Creative Commons. I mean, Creative Commons is especially important in this regard. Because some people make certain audio files, and they upload them for other people to use in their videos, and then for different purposes. I mean, there are different Creative Commons licenses for using it for non-commercial purposes, for commercial purposes, with or without having to give them a credit. Now, if video now. one of the biggest sites for sound effects, especially, is freesound.org, and if sound files in there start getting flagged by Content ID, then I think most of the people who make videos on YouTube are probably going to end up going elsewhere. Same with here's something I do not want to see happen. For the sake of many of the video makers and cartoon makers like myself on YouTube, if claims are filed against songs from Incompetech.com, which is the site of an artist called Kevin MacLeod, who basically makes all these songs that are basically that we can use them in any videos as long as we give them credit for them. Give them credit for making the sounds. As there's a whole lot of songs on his website that can serve that are good for many different purposes. I know since I do a lot of work with making webtoons with animation, that then his sound files are pretty useful in that regard. Now, I haven't heard much about any people who make webtoons running into problems with the Content ID yet, but if any of us start running into problems with it, rest assured, we're not going to. I'm sure most of us are not going to stay on YouTube for that much longer, or at least not until this whole thing is settled down. Because there are other sites where we can post our Flash animations. Like, for example, if I have trouble putting my own animations on here in a couple months, then I am going to go straight to probably Newgrounds and upload the animations there. Sure, there might be some quality issues if I decide to use SWF, but it's that or not showing the content at all. Which for those of us who make things like these videos and animations, we do not like that. Yeah, now, is this... Now, for people who use certain copyright things in works, in videos on YouTube, I mean, if you're not allowed to even use anything that might even remotely be copyrighted, then what's the future of YouTube? My guess? Right here in my room right now. As you might notice, my vest has been completely zipped up because I don't want this video flagged because of whatever is on the is in the shirt on my shirt. I mean, if I'm flagged for something like that, that would be really stupid. And also, if some of you are familiar with some of my other videos like this, you notice that I usually have a couple of posters on my closet door over here. Well, I moved them so I don't run into any so I don't get flagged for those, because God forbid I have posters in my room, which is completely normal in most cases. Instead, I have a couple of drawings there that I made myself. In fact, the drawings are actually for a webcomic I'm starting, or I started not too long ago. It's called The Girl Who Wanders Through Time, and it's available on, and I have links for 2 different sites in the description. And in a couple of months, I'll probably have animated versions of some of the chapters here. That is, if you don't run into problems. I mean, if I have to fight to show that they're mine, fine. I mean, I have storyboards right here, the drawings over there. I mean, make my day. I mean, if we have to all start making our own, making all the content in our videos ourselves, and not even go through anything, well, any external sources, that's fine. But as fair warning, if that's the future of YouTube, it's going to be pretty damn dull. As, well, really, without audio, most videos they're not really much. I mean, do I want this to be the future of YouTube? No way. So basically, here's a message to Google. Fix your content ID and set it back to the way it was. And we won't, and make sure your bots do not flag things that are certainly not copyrighted, because you're going to run into a lot of false claims. I mean, fraudulent claims on YouTube can run into a lot of trouble. I mean, we are the case. I mean, the thing with the video co-pilot, and I'm sure they're not the only ones who are trying to we're having trouble with other people basically claiming their copyright material. Which, by the way, if you have something completely original on YouTube, as in made every single asset in a video yourself, heck, actually any video you make on YouTube and put on there, that video is yours for the duration of your life plus 50 years automatically. So if your video is stolen, taken to somewhere else, you have the right to fight it. Usually upload dates don't lie. Now, Google, please do not cause any more damage to YouTube or any of the other services more than you already have. And that includes moving results with a lot of DMCA takedown notices further down your search listings. When you Google search anything, usually within the first page, usually in the first half of the first page, are a whole lot of videos from YouTube, which their own site, which they currently own, which probably has more takedown notices than any other site on the internet. Now, what is this ContentID doing? Basically, it's destroying our legal, what we, content creators of YouTube, are able to do, and basically not allowing us to do everything we're allowed to do legally. I mean, a lot of corporations are messing up this year. First, Google, and Microsoft is messing up a bit as well, I'd say. Like the whole thing with Windows 8, which is probably one of the worst operating systems ever made for a PC. Not to mention the whole thing with the Xbox One. Lame name, by the way. What are you supposed to call the original? Now, if we lose those, yeah, they basically made some dumb mistakes, and Google's doing the same thing. I mean, Google, do not damage one thing that's making you a good portion of your revenue. I mean, if you put 100% revenue sharing on every video that's flagged to the people who put the claim, well, give them your cut too, and a cut that the people who made the ads get. Give them their cut. Are you going to do that? Absolutely not. You lose a whole lot of money that way. I mean, what's the number for how much you made off the ad revenue just this year? About $5.5 billion. You do not want to mess with that at all. Yeah, there's certain things you just do not mess with. And, well, to end this whole thing, I'm going to end this with a quick animation I slapped together to basically voice how frustrated I am with Google a little bit right now. Involving one of my characters from my new webcomic, and a green G, which represents Google. And I'm not putting in any audio, so those videos no chance in hell of getting flagged. Well, until next time, everyone.